Alrighty, so at this point, nobody's bracket is perfect anymore in March Madness. I do this every year. I believe this is like the fourth year that I've done this before, but we're going to be doing and filling out the second chance bracket. We're going to be taking a look at it. We're going to be seeing, after re-seeing how some of these games have been going, which team is going to come out victorious, who's going to go to the Final Four. I know occasionally some people put money on the second chance bracket, but let's see. Let's see what we do here. So Auburn, Michigan. I'm going to go with Auburn. I think they actually have played pretty well considering who they've played. I think they've matched up pretty well with their opponents, and I think they beat Michigan, a team that was able to get two quality wins, but I don't know. I don't know if they're going to be able to beat Auburn. Ole Miss, Michigan State is really interesting, and I think Ole Miss has played really well. And I don't think Michigan State's been tested that much, but I'll still take Michigan State. I think it's going to be a battle of a game, really, really close, but I will take Michigan State in that. Then you have Duke, Arizona, and there's a world where I could see Arizona pulling this game out. I really do. They've played incredible, but I will still take Duke. This is where it gets a little more interesting. BYU has been really good. Alabama has been they've been able to finish games really well, but they haven't started on the best. I have BYU to pull the big upset and take down Alabama to get to the Elite Eight. Heading down to here, Florida. It's an obvious choice for me. I think Florida's a really strong team. My original bracket, I had UConn beating them, and UConn almost did beat them. I was just worried about that matchup for them. UConn's a really physical team. They had come into this thing winning the previous two. Dan Hurley is probably the best coach in college basketball right now. I was worried about that matchup for them. Now that that's out of the way, they're gonna beat Maryland pretty handily. But then Texas Tech, they've won. I didn't like how they played in their first game. I thought that they played decent in their second one. Give me John Calipari and Arkansas. You got a really talented team. I think they're going to get this win. Going to the other side of the bracket, Houston, Purdue. I will take Houston, and then I will take Tennessee over Kentucky. I'm very surprised that Kentucky was able to get this far. I think that they were a bit overseeded this year, but they have gotten to the Sweet 16, and they have showed that they had the ability to compete. And they could beat Tennessee. From what I've seen, I think Tennessee will win this game. Then you go to the Elite Eight here. I will take Auburn to beat Michigan State. I think that it's going to be a really good matchup, but I will take Auburn. Duke has played really well in this tournament so far. BYU would just be outsized in a game like this, and that's why Duke would win. Florida, Arkansas, it's a great story for Arkansas. Great story for John Calipari. You forget about Arkansas. Arkansas had kind of an injury bug that really derailed them a little bit, and now they're getting people back. That's why they were able to upset a team like St. John's. I will take Florida. I think they get this win. Then you go to Houston, Tennessee, and I think Tennessee has just been playing really well. I like the trajectory. I like where Tennessee seems like they're going at this point. That's why I am going to pick them for the Final Four. So the Final Four we have here, we have Auburn, Florida, Duke, Tennessee. And I wouldn't be surprised if this happened because this year there has not been a lot of upsets. Only one seed higher than what? So you have some 6s and you have a 10. So you have one 10 seed left in this. It's been pretty standard in this tournament. There hasn't been a lot of big upsets at all. I think it'll go pretty standard through this, and it will get to a point where there's 3. Maybe this could be one of those years where all 4 teams are 1 seed. It's not impossible. It's certainly not impossible, but I think you'll get some variation of this where I think at least 2 of the ones will be in the Final Four, but this is what we have here. Auburn, Florida. I've went back and forth on it. It's going to be such a good game. if this is the matchup, and I really don't know which way to go with it. I really don't know which way to go with it. But if I just go off sheer players, talent, trajectory, I'm gonna take the Florida Gators. They just they have proved me wrong in those tournament games. I think them beating UConn, getting over the hump, beating the previous champion, I think that means something for these later matchups. I think they get there. And Auburn's an incredible team, but I just think Florida gets there. I just think they do. And then you go to Duke, Tennessee. I believe Duke will get there. And I have Florida. I think Florida will just put around 141 for this. I just think Florida has the intangibles. They have the players. They're on the proper run. I think Florida can do this and win the whole thing, which is not what I had initially. I had Auburn initially, but I was really impressed with how they played against UConn. And I know a lot of people are sitting there saying, well, UConn was an 8 seed. I understand that, but it's really difficult to fend off a team like that, playing under a coach like that, given what UConn had to lose. For them to be able to win that game, it was really impressive, I thought. And if you look at their draw, Maryland is barely there. I believe either matchup they get, Texas Tech or Arkansas, it's going to be an easy Elite Eight game, in my opinion, for them. Auburn's going to be that's you're talking maybe a 2-point, 3-point finish in that game. But I will take the Florida Gators. Let me know in the comments what you think.